get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
It just strikes me as something that is so easy, but again, I come back to laziness, because it's just lack of thought. I don't know how to fix that other than talking about it.
We can't accept laziness as an excuse anymore. You know, honestly,
No, it's not good
earlier
enough.
this year, I was like, hey, you know, I reached out to a couple of friends, like, why weren't there any people of color on the panel, or why weren't there any women on the panel? Oh, I didn't think about it. That's downright laziness. Like, when are we going to make a constant, like a full-blown effort to make this change? You know?
Yeah. And I actually actively wanted a colorful panel for this conversation. So maybe I'm going the other way, right? But so now, you know, I'll get accused of not bringing in.
Yeah, just like
Taylor
we accused
shades.
you of all the what was your first title again? Old grumpy white guys.
Yeah, old white guys. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
asked you,
where are the old white guys?
where are the people of color? You know, they're gonna be asking, where were the grumpy old white
If
guys?
there was exactly right. So if there was one thing that you could say to people in terms of your experience to date, and if there's one thing that you think, and possibly, Alicia, you've already answered this. If there's one thing from your heritage that you would want to bring to work that you felt you can't, or you didn't have the confidence to, what would it be? What would you bring?
What would I bring? I guess I would be more public about who I am, right? Like, there's parts of me that you don't see that are considered diversity. So maybe I would bring more of that to the forefront and not push it to the back, and just fully accept that, lead with that, right? Because in a lot of settings I get, and people go, oh, where's your husband? Right? They assume that. I'm like,
Yeah.
He ain't coming around ever. Don't worry about that, you know. But that's probably something that I would bring more to the forefront, I guess, outside of my hair. You can't miss this. But
Beautiful hair.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis?
I've had the hair issues too. I've had to take my braids down or whatever for interviews. Like, oh, I can't, you know, I mean, as recently as like 5 years ago, you know. So I've had that too, and so I echo that sentiment that Alicia mentioned. I would also say that if there was something that I could bring that I don't bring, is on those days where, you know, where I'm sad because of some horrific thing has happened in the community. I just want to be able to be sad. I just want to be able to take off the tough exterior, you know what I mean? And just like be sad and talk about it, and, you know, and have some people, you know, in common at work that will say, you know, how dare somebody do that at the 4th of July parade? You know, that's a horrific thing that happened. How come, you know, I didn't talk about that with anybody this week at work. So I'd like to be able to do that and not, you know, be, I don't know the right word.
Work is not a bubble, right?
not
Work is
have
not
to
a bubble.
hide it, not have to hide it, or
No,
cover
you're
it
not
up
working in this.
with toughness.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. To have to mask it, you know. Yeah. Exactly.
Sule, what would you bring?
I think it would be what we wear in Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria, right? There are a couple of styles of clothing. One is very similar actually to you know, Pakistan or India, which is like the kaftan, and the you know, the kaftan itself can be 3/4 length or full length. I hate the full length. I don't like the full length billowing type. To me that's like old people's kaftan. I prefer. I know, right?
You'd style it out though, Sule. You would style it out.
I prefer the slim 3/4, kind of gets to just
Yeah,
about
yeah.
your knees. To me,
Yeah.
that's a whole lot more trendy. And then we've got something we in the North we refer to as babunriga. In literally that translates to big clothing kind of, and it's I equate it almost to a samurai. That's kind of reaching a little bit, but you know how the samurai, they've got the things that come out, the way they wear what they wear.
Yeah.
So with ours, it's not quite that way. It's pretty big, and the sleeves are long and they drape down. But what it is you kind of you put it over your shoulders,
Yeah.
and it's designed to help to keep you cool, actually, because it traps the cooler air and all that. But that's what I would bring. That if I could, nobody is telling me don't do that, right? Nobody is saying don't show up that way. It is all on me. It's really me. And for the longest time, and I do have that. I've got that. I've got the clothing here, but do I wear it to go out? Or I don't. The only time I have ever worn it is to go to a friend's house for socials, and of course, I always get questions. And that has been maybe one time in the whole entire time that I've been here. So that's what I would take. That's what I would.
They say he want to show up
clothes.
sharp. He want to show
Yeah.
up sharp. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
For me,
Never thought
it's
about that.
clothes. Yeah, it's clothes as well. And again, and I have a double wardrobe, but I will restrict it to family and not professional. But I did last year. My sister passed last year, and she left me one of her similar thing. It's kind of 3/4 length, like a kaftan, and it was really colourful. And it's not what I was going to wear, but it was the first in-person event. It was the mini IC in London in 21, and I wore it because I wanted to take a piece of her with me. And I was speaking on the panel, and I absolutely loved it. And you're absolutely right. It's me that stopped me wearing it, because what I was going to wear was very Western,
right,
business attire, and instead I went in this colourful kaftan that was ridiculously comfortable because it was a warm day, and I just felt like I had her with me. So yeah, it's clothes is such a, it is a part of our identity, and we have such a vibrant heritage to share with people. So why not? So Sule, my challenge to you is I want to see it.
Ooh, me too.
We need a picture.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, I'm going to post it. Make sure it's
Oh
super.
God.
It will be posted.
Fashion. We need to see the AV fashion for sure.
So here we go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put a call out to the AV tweeps and see what we can do, and let's have a day where we dress up however we want, whether it's our hair, whether it's our clothes. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Y'all know I love a good fashion show.
And
Oh,
I love a good fashion show.
And let's bring it, because it's just let's brighten up the Twitter sphere.
What you want to get away from? You want to get away from the norm? I think that's gonna be awesome.
Because guess what, people? It's still us underneath those clothes. It's still us. We're still the same people.
It would certainly inject the whole look how different, right? People are out there, because I think for a lot of people, until I open my mouth and say something, they assume that I was born here and I'm African American and everything. But when I open my mouth and speak, then they're like, well, where's he from? I've actually had somebody down here in the South say that I was a Yankee because of the way that I spoke. Clearly, they didn't know. I mean, they grew up here, their whole life, clearly. So to them, this accent could only be that I was, from up north. So yeah, if I were to wear that, and of course there's a hat that goes with that as well. But if I were to wear that whole outfit, it would be a completely different perspective that they might have.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
As to who I am. Yeah.
I will be putting that challenge out later today. 100%. I just think I'm already seeing it now and just think, yeah, we should have done this a long time ago. Break the barriers.
Yeah,
It's still us underneath it.
Mhm.
I love it.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate